Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Up the Guts podcast. Joining you as always is your host, Trenty Alton. And yes, today is the preview episode. We are up to the final round of the AFL season, and what a journey it has been so far. We are up to round 24, the final round, obviously, with the Wednesday game still going to be played between Gold Coast and Essendon. That will be played next Wednesday. But we are down to then it is finals time. And for some teams, these are going to decide whether they play finals or if they don't. So before we get into the preview episode, there was I recorded yesterday and there was the retirements there, but there's also been a couple of retirements today. So Premiership Hawk and Western Bulldog, Taylor DeRay has hung up the boot. So I just want to read over some of his stats. So 34 years of age, Taylor DeRay was actually a mainstay in the Hawks during that premiership era as a lockdown defender. Never probably got the accolades that he deserved because he played that really lockdown defender role. I was actually talking about it with a friend at work. Lockdown defenders don't get noticed, and she said, I knew Taylor DeRay, but not that well. She's like, name another lockdown defender and I'll see if I knew him. And I named him, and they were like, who? I kind of know them, but you don't hear about it. I'm like, my point exactly. So he played that unrewarded type of role, but within the four walls would have been so well respected and renowned. So he managed to notch up, 218 games and kicked 25 goals. Played 118 for the Hawks and 100 on the dot for the Bulldogs. He's a two-time premiership player in 2014 and 2015. I want to see, what did he get traded for? It just says he was traded to the Western Bulldogs. But yeah, he was a great player for the Hawks and for the Bulldogs. In the meantime, found his way out of the best 22 with a strong Western Bulldogs side. And at age of 34, it was time to hang up the boots. And another player who retired today, currently at Fremantle. And this player is the perfect example of a what if. What if everything went right? And that is Quinton Narkle. At the age of 27, has hung up the boots. Only managed the 59 games and kicked the 27 goals. 41 of them from 2017 to 2022 were at the Geelong Football Club. Then was delisted, then picked up by Port Adelaide for the 2023 to 2024, where he played 16 games and kicked the 8 goals, and then was delisted, and then again picked up by Freo this season, where he's only played the 2 games and kicked the 1 goal. But he's the perfect example of the what-if player. Has all the talent in the world, just couldn't string together consistent footy. And he's going to go down as I said, one of those what-if player, someone who had all the talent in the world, just couldn't put it all together, which is a shame to see. But by all means, playing AFL football at any stretch, 59 games, is a great achievement. So well done to Quinton Narkle and Taylor DeRay on their AFL careers. But without further ado, let's get into previewing the round 24 action of footy. Let's go. So this Thursday night at 7:30 p.m, the MCG, we kick off with the Bombers and the Blues. So this one, it's going to be a bit of a sleeper game, let's be honest. Channel 7 has opted out, not even televising it and having the rights to the game, which is an interesting call on their behalf. Bombers, obviously, we mentioned as you have been depleted. I thought the Blues were better last week, a really good statement win. So I'm going to be going back into Carlton Football Club for this game. Then Friday night, this is a must-win game for the Magpies. Collingwood v Melbourne, 7:10 at the MCG. It's a must-win game. They currently sit 4th. They could lose their spot in the top 4 as we speak. Melbourne are 14th at the moment, but they're the type of team that could come in and just wreck Collingwood's season. Like, they've got all the talent there on list. Petrarca, Oliver, Trent Rivers down there, Cozzy Pickett. If he could rip this game to shreds and really destroy Collingwood's top 4 chances, which I mentioned in the review episode. I think Collingwood really need that, especially the way they're playing. But I also said it's time for the captain, Darcy Moore, to take charge and take some ownership. Instead of pointing traffic, let him be the leader that leads from the front in that back 50 and get this Collingwood team back up and going. So without no question, I'm going to be backing my Pies. But Not confidently, may I say. At 8, it's a doubleheader on the Friday nights at 8:10 p.m. at the Adelaide Oval. We got Port Adelaide v Gold Coast at the Adelaide. Oh, as I said, at the Adelaide Oval. But it's Ken Hinkley's last game as the Port Adelaide coach, which, being a fairy tale, he's been such a good coach because he's got them to so many prelims. He just hasn't been able to go the extra mile and get them to a grand final and win a premiership. I would have loved to seen him get to at least one grand final, even if it didn't go his way. But because he got to so many prelims, it's going to be interesting to see them under Josh Carr. I think they're definitely in a rebuild. They finished second last year, and now they are 13th. But I believe this is also must win for Gold Coast because if they can win this and then back it up with the game we'll preview at the end of this, they are in with really good chance to, if we have a look, 56. They'll jump into the 8 without a doubt. So I said in the review episode, if they don't make the 8, it's a failed season with the cattle that they've got. There's just no reason why the Gold Coast Suns shouldn't be playing finals right now. So I'm going to be going with the Suns. Then Saturday, we kick it off at 1:20 p.m. at Marvel Stadium, the Kangaroos v. the Crows. Now, Isaac Rankin has decision whether he'll be playing or not has been pushed back to tomorrow. We're recording this on a Tuesday night, so it'll be pushed back to Wednesday. We'll find out their decision in the verdict. But the Crows just get this done. I thought North Melbourne were really impressive last week against the Tigers. By all means, against the Tigers, but that's the win that they exactly needed to come in. Cooper Trembath has been a real good find. Played the 2 games and kicked 3 goals in each, so 6 goals against his 2 games. So it's been a really good pickup, mid-season draftee by him, but the Crows just get this done quite comfortably. 4:15 p.m. at the MCG, we got the Tigers v. the Cats. Now, the Cats are not smoky, but I think they might be nearly my favourites to win the flag. I have questions whether Adelaide can do it without Isaac Rankin, but I think the Cats are just cruising with the Jez up. Max Holmes and Bailey Smith, geez, that is so damaging. And Brian Myers. Sean Manor, I've mentioned before, but the role that he plays is so influential for the Geelong Football Club. So I'm going to be going with the Cats quite comfortably in this one. 7:35 p.m. at Optus Stadium, the standalone Saturday night game is the West Coast Eagles v. the Sydney Swans. Now, it's 18 v 10. Now, the Sydney Swans have just looked like such a better side with Errol Goulden in there. We saw Isaac Henny's had a great few weeks and was shut down by Mark O'Connor last week and showed some aggression and frustration is the better word I should be saying. With how they was getting under his skin. And the interesting news out of the West Coast Eagles, Ryan Daniels did report today that Liam Ryan, with 1 year to go on his contract, he's looking to get out and go to St Kilda. So it'll be interesting to see there. But even though it's at Optus Stadium, I'm somewhat tempted to go with the Eagles, but I'm going to go with the Swans on this one. Then we head over to Sunday at NG Stadium. It's an early start, 12:20 p.m. The Giants v. the Saints. Again, another must-win game for the Giants. Marcus Winhager has been linked to the Giants. That's an interesting one, but at the moment it seems like the Giants aren't quite interested. Marcus Winhager just not feeling the love from the Saints. And he's had a really good month of footy since they've let him play as a midfielder, not as a tagger. This is a must-win game for the Giants. They are currently one of the several teams who currently sit on 60 points. And with Gold Coast coming in, if the Giants were to drop this and the Gold Coast won 2 on the trot, they would go out. They would at least drop down. So the teams on 60 as we speak: Collingwood, Hawthorn, WS, Fremantle, Western Bulldogs. Fremantle. Western Bulldogs are on 56, just hanging on in that 8th spot, and Gold Coast Suns in that 9th spot in 56 with 2 games to spare. So I think the Giants get this done quite comfortably, purely because it's at NG Stadium, but that Nass signing has got to hype up the Saints as well. So expect not a smashing, or it could, let's face it, I think the Giants are going to really show up now and really amp it up. They'll be drilled into them that it's finals time. Let's get serious. Let's show them what we're about. Then we head over to Marvel Stadium, 3:15 p.m. The Bulldogs v. the Dockers. Again, a must-win game for both sides. If the Bulldogs drop this, they won't play finals. Simple as that, because Gold Coast will win one of their 2 at least. If Freo drop it, they could also miss. They had that 1 game on top of the Bulldogs. The key factor in this game is it's at Marvel Stadium. You know what that means. The Bulldogs are going to run riot. Darcy and Norton, Bontempelli, Ed Richards, Tom Liberatore. Does Adam Treloar come back in or do they hold him off? He had 40-1 in the VFL, 27 or 28 by half time. Just absolutely ran riot. I fit Adam Treloar is such a key factor in these past years because he's starting to hit the scoreboard and have more scorer moments. It'll be interesting to see what they do there. But Marvel Stadium, Western Bulldogs, is a different breed. So I'm going to be going with the Doggies. And interestingly enough, this is the one that I have to choose my margin on. So I'm going to be going with the Doggies. I'm going to go by 28 points. I just don't think Freo get it done at Marvel. Then the penultimate game of the round, we head over to the Gabba Sunday night, 7:20 p.m. Interesting enough, and it's the Brisbane Lions v the Hawks. I think this could be a blockbuster game. If I go back here, no, Brisbane, in order to lock in a top 4 spot, they need to win, as do the Hawks. So it's a must-win game for both if they want to have that second chance going into the finals. Hawks have had a really good month of footy. Dylan Moore's been a key cog to that, I believe, probably been their best player amongst those. Really good. Jack Gunston, what the hell? But Brisbane Lions, so impressive last week. Absolutely demolished Freo at their home deck. And they're the reigning premiers for a reason, which is why I'm going to be going with the Brisbane Lions, but I think it's going to be a real tight tussle. And then, as I mentioned, Wednesday night, 7:20 p.m., we get Wednesday night footy. How good's this? People First Stadium, Gold Coast v Essendon. That's the only down part. Gold Coast just thump them, don't they? 10-plus goals. I don't think Essendon will even really shove up. Why would they? But I think Gold Coast by 10-plus goals, and they storm their way into finals in that one. So there are my tips and previews. I'm going to click submit, and we'll review over who I've tipped. But with one round to go, I want to go over the Up the Guts tipping competition standing. It's been a while since I've done it, but I know at the top it's really tight. So let's go over. If we go over here, no. Competitions. So if we go over here, we've got an equal spot on top of the ladder. It is Della and my dad, Glenn, both on 147. The only thing splitting them is the margins. So that's where it's add up every year. So every week, sorry. So the margin works is, we pick our margin obviously at the start of the round of that one game. Normally it's the first game, and this week it isn't. So normally it's that Thursday night game. And then how it adds up is how close you get to that. So Della has got the lowest one on 535 there, and he's on, and Glenn is on 587. So they're really the ones that are fighting out for it, and it'll be interesting to see. I'll know about it from both parties, actually. Della's one of my good mates as well, if he wins that one, and obviously Dad being at home. Chris is on 144. Corey in fourth on 143. My mum on 143. Only 6 points margin split them both, so bragging rights there. Aiden Miller in 6th. Hodgie in 7th. Zach in 8th. Myself in 9th on 141, equal with Zach. JD Hawks in 139. Big Pistol in 11th on 137. Elaine in 12th on 137. Tommy Sins in 13th on 135, jumped up the spot. Logan Mate on 14th on 134. Will in 15th on 105. Connor in 16th on 103. And Bassi in 17th on 90. So that's how the tipping stands. Best of luck to Glenn and Della, or somehow Chris pulls something out of the bag. But it's going to be out of Glenn and Della, and it's going to go right down to the wire. If it comes down to margins, oh no, that game is really crucial, and it is the Bulldogs and Fremantle game. So best of luck to them. Right, so that's how the tipping competition is looking. Let's just review who I've tipped before we wrap this things up and getting in as we get closer to finals footy. So as we go over here, Thursday night, I'm going with the Blues over the Bombers. Friday night, backing my Pies in over the D's. Friday night game, sorry. Going with the Suns over Port at Adelaide Oval. Then Saturday to kick it off, going with Adelaide over the Kangaroos. Geelong over the Tigers. Swans over the Eagles at Optus. Sunday, I'm going with the Giants over the Saints. At Marvel, I'm going with the Bulldogs by 28 points over the Dockers. Then I'm going with Brisbane over Hawthorn in a thriller. And Gold Coast over Essendon on that Wednesday. So there you have it, guys. There is my preview of round 24. Thank you guys for listening. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to leave a like and comment on this video. Hit that subscribe button, turn the notification bell so you're uploaded, notified whenever we upload. If you're listening to this via Apple Podcasts or Spotify, make sure to leave a like and comment. Hit that follow button, turn on the notification bell so you're notified whenever we upload. Share this off to a mate who you think might also enjoy it. And always remember, if you did enjoy the episode, guys, please leave a 5-star rating, as that does help the show tremendously. Thank you guys for listening, and until next time, I'll see you guys then.